everyone, I'm Amber Oliver. Welcome to my channel where I share colorful crafts, easy DIYs, and more. I try to bring color and creativity wherever I land, even when traveling. Last year, we spent 2 weeks in South Africa, and one of the highlights of that trip was our South African safari. This video features my travel vlog so you can see what it was like, and I'm also sharing tips and tricks with you. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because I have several more travel videos to share. Also, I'm trying a different format for this video, so drop me a comment and let me know if you like this vertical video format. I'm still pinching myself that I got an opportunity to go on the trip of a lifetime. We were in the process of moving abroad when the pandemic hit, and it left us stranded on 2 different continents. So after spending 18 months apart, we were finally reunited at our home in Houston. Shortly after, we were able to finally go on a long-delayed trip to South Africa. Our friend wanted to have her wedding in the country she was born, and we were happy to join her there to celebrate. Any chance you get to head to South Africa, you take it. It is 5:16 a.m. Eric is very bundled. I have a blanket. We're ready for a morning safari. The sun just came up, so we're hoping all the lions are waking up and taking their little babies out for a walk or something. So we're gonna go see what we can see today. The mornings were cool, so we made sure to bring the blankets from our rooms that were specifically provided for the drives. Once the sun came up, we were able to shed that blanket. You also want to dress in layers because you'll end up taking stuff off, putting it on as the day progresses. We were so lucky to get to see so many amazing animals in the wild. Most people hope to see the big 5 when they go to Africa: the lion, leopard, rhino, elephant, and the African buffalo. The elusive leopard is the only one we didn't see. The giraffe was one of the first animals we spotted. We actually saw them on our drive into the lodge and then several times on multiple of our safari drives. The lodge we stayed at was a private game reserve and is home to about 60 mammals, 300 bird species, and 100 types of plants, and tons of different reptiles and insects. Eric about gave one of our guides a heart attack because he thought he spotted a leopard. It was pretty funny how fast that guide threw the vehicle in park and ripped out his binoculars. Unfortunately, you start seeing things out of nothing when you're just staring at trees and brush for hours. Any dark spot starts to look like it could be a sleeping animal. So one of the biggest questions I had before this trip was what to wear on safari. I did a ton of research and I found some really stupid suggestions on Pinterest. I remember one outfit was shorts and a silk top. So if you're looking for what to wear, I've actually linked some of the exact items I packed for our safari in the eye and down below. I found most of the clothes just on Amazon and Old Navy. The majority of my clothing was cotton or linen, and neutral colors were great for mixing up my outfits since we were actually in South Africa for over 2 weeks. Color and comfort are the most important things to consider when searching for what to wear on your safari. You want to stick with light colored neutrals because you want to blend into the scenery. You also do quite a bit of sitting, so you want to be comfortable. Our morning safari met at 5:30 in the morning, and we were back for breakfast by 8. Evening safaris met at 4:30, and we got back for dinner about 7. We came in late for dinner, so I usually just changed my shoes and took off a layer or 2. It was pretty easy to just swap your shoes and touch up your makeup. The dining was really casual. Another of the highlights on this trip was spotting African wild dogs while on an evening game drive. These cuties are critically endangered and there's only about 500 of them left in the wild, so it was really lucky we caught a sight of them. We even got a chance to do a true brush adventure and go on a horseback safari. Let me tell you, nothing compares to this excitement and thrill. Seeing big game that close and on horseback, it's not for the faint of heart. You get really close to the wild animals. One of my friends was actually knocked off her horse just a few yards from a rhino and her baby. That was pretty scary, but the good news is she was okay. I can only speak from personal experience, but we found the weather during our trip in October to be perfect. Remember, South Africa is in the southern hemisphere, so their seasons are the opposite of ours in North America. We arrived in the middle of spring and the temperatures were lovely. I mostly wore lightweight capris and pants with layers on top. A blanket scarf was perfect to keep warm and it was easy to take on and off. Hands down, the coolest part of our safari was seeing lions in the wild. They live in a special part of the park since most of the game reserve is managed for wildlife conservation. We actually saw male and female lions and even caught them mating 2 days in a row. We could not believe our luck. That's some Discovery Channel stuff right there. I'm not gonna lie, getting that close to wild lions, it's terrifying, but holy moly, what an experience. We would all breathe a collective sigh of relief and silently cheer when they got close to us or we got to see something really exciting. In college, I was in Alpha Delta Pi sorority and our mascot was a lion. My little sister was on the trip with us, so we were so excited we actually got to take a picture with Alfie. We had a perfect stay at Mabula Lodge. It's outside of Johannesburg, South Africa. We flew in and out of Joburg, and it was nice to stay in the city for a few days before we headed out to the game lodge. And we hired a driver to take us the 2 hours to and from Johannesburg. The lodge was beautiful and hand-selected by our friend who was the bride of the wedding we were attending there. The place felt really intimate as the staff lives on site for shifts that are, I think, a couple of weeks, not exactly sure how long, but this meant that we had the same guides for our game drives and we were served by the same staff as well. Mabula had beautiful trees and plenty of wildlife to see right there on site. I especially loved the gorgeous jacaranda trees that were in full bloom with their bright purple flowers when we visited. These trees were so cool and I've never seen anything like them. I learned that Johannesburg is the largest landlocked city in the world. They actually have the largest man-made urban forest with more than 10 million trees. Pretty cool. We were so far from the city, so the night sky was beautiful and it was amazing to see the constellations in the southern hemisphere. Dining under a 100-year-old fig tree while the stars sparkled in the brilliant night sky, nothing short of magical. Okay, so you're probably wondering what exactly happens when you go on a safari. I mentioned above that we went on 2 drives each day. The morning one leaves at 5:30 a.m. You meet up in the lobby, you grab coffee and tea, and eat a rusk. It's a biscuit. They're popular in South Africa. It's basically a cookie that's like dehydrated until it's really crunchy, kind of like biscotti. On the drives, our guides would usually ask us what we wanted to see that day. Unless there's a high-profile sighting, most of the trucks head out on their own all over the game preserve. The drivers use radios to let each other know where a herd of elephants is or if they've had a lion spotted. The afternoon drives are similar, with a tea time before and a few hours of driving and viewing. The morning drives end with coffee, tea, and a rusk break before you head back to the lodge. The evening drives end with a sundowner, or an African happy hour. This was a really fun way to end the day. Our drives were always in open-air trucks, and it can be a little unsettling at first. You get really close to the animals, and it can be a little scary. It can also be windy and dusty, so just know that when you go. Something I learned on this trip was it's actually really easy to give back while you're on vacation. Stuff your suitcase with as many items to give away as you can. A few dollars for you on coloring books, crayons, and other supplies would mean the world to a few kids here in South Africa. The staff at your lodge would be more than happy to facilitate their delivery. Also, consider donating any clothing or shoes you don't have room for or you don't want to bring back to the States. Okay, so how much does it cost to go on safari in South Africa? Well, it takes just under 19 hours to get from our home in Houston to Johannesburg, South Africa. The flight is a big chunk of the cost of the trip. We splurged on first class tickets, but even in economy, you're going to spend a pretty penny. That's why a trip like this is really best to save up for and do it big. Once you're in South Africa, you'll find the exchange rate is great for Americans. It's more than 16 to 1. Here's a breakdown of some of our safari-related expenses. As I mentioned, we did do first class, and our round-trip tickets on United Airlines was around $8,100. The cost for our safari? 5 days, 4 nights, the lodging, all meals, and the safari rides, $870. Just a fraction of the price to actually get over there. We also opted to stay at a hotel in Johannesburg for 2 nights. That was $240. And the other fee you'll have to consider is getting to and from the lodge. Our transfer cost $145 each way. I hope this video provided good insight to a South Africa safari. I've linked the blog post for you in the description of this video, and it has a ton of great photos and links with more information. I hope you're feeling inspired to travel somewhere new and bring color and creativity wherever you land. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.